Today, something similar and different at the same time. I'm doing a walk around essentially on my own bike. This is a bike that I built several years ago. So in a sense, we're doing a long-term review on this Lowrider S. I built this, man, what year was that? I don't know. It was the COVID year that Born Free got changed. Whatever year that was. This is a 2020, I know that. It's a 2020 Lowrider S. It started as an all black bike with sort of bronzy brown color wheels, black engine, all that stuff. Built this bike for Born Free, for Harley, for the motor company, for Born Free. You know, conceptually what I wanted to do, I always have said that, you know, Born Free in our world is as important as Daytona or Sturgis, or it's a very important event in the motorcycle scene at this point. And to me, I felt that, you know, you had the Sturgis anniversary bike, you had a Daytona anniversary bike. Why not do a Born Free edition bike? In the 90s, there was tons of like special edition Dynas, FXRs, Softails that came out. And I mean, they are sort of redoing that in a sense now with the Fast Johnny and the El Diablo and things like that. But before all of that happened, I built this as a concept. Hence the DLS badging and stuff on it, because we went from FXDLS to FXLRS. I wanted this to sort of be as if it was pre-lowrider, pre-M8 lowrider concept kind of thing. Anyway, took a lot of inspiration from like early 90s, like I said. I mean, every part of this bike is touched. My goal was to like make it not look like it was touched. I mean, similar if you've seen the Pan Am videos, the Pan Am is sort of a follow-up in terms of concept to this. But essentially, yeah, just make like something that looked extremely factory that the motor company could make with not a lot of, you know, changing around. Now, remind you, this was a 2020. These bags, there was no ST at that point, so I put these bags on here. They didn't offer chrome on any of on those bikes, so all of that was changed. A whole slew of things. I mean, I guess do we have time to do a whole thing on this? Like every single part, Kevin? We do? Okay, well, then let's just go through it, I suppose. So this actual gas tank is from FXLR. And so I cut it up, I put the fuel pump inside, I notched it for the oil lines. Anyone who's done this knows. Changed the mounts, all these other things. The paint job specifically is an actual 1991 color that was available from Harley. I believe it was special order, but it's peach and black with a gray pinstripe. The layout of the paint is actually what was on a 1991 lowrider. So basically, again, copied, like that's how it would have been in 91. This logo I actually made up from scratch. And again, sort of to have like a really 90s kind of vibe to it. I used some stuff like that. The seat, a lot of people don't catch this. 1991 through 1994 Dyna had this exact stitch pattern on the seats. If you've ever seen them, the Daytona has a Daytona mark here. The Sturgis has a Sturgis mark here. But it has this cool little bump out that I always cared for. But this actual seat stitch pattern is a sort of a replica of the 91 and 94 Dyna. Obviously, remade this, you know, made the seat from scratch. Saddleman did all this. I mean, I sculpted the foam. They stitched everything per spec. I did change the rear fender to a more rounded traditional style fender. If you've ever seen S's or STs, they sort of have a real square boxy fender with a 180 tire. I don't care for that. I went to a skinnier fender with a 160 tire. My biggest beef with the M8 Softails is the sort of hard angle, which all Softails have really, but I really wanted to sort of like make a softer silhouette, like from the tank line into the seat, into the fender, not so abrupt up and down. So really just kind of played with positioning of the tank, getting the seat sort of as flat as possible and lowering the fender and all that. Again, bags, this was off of a Sport Glide at the time, pre-ST, got those painted to match. This is a factory accessory quarter fairing from Harley, but I didn't care for the angle, so I cut the mounts and pulled everything back to give it a better, just give it a better fit on the bike. I think it leaned way too far forward for my taste. Kind of went with a traditional riser, but nothing too high, nothing that wouldn't be factory, let's say. So I kind of did like a traditional sort of Sportster pullback kind of riser bar with a shorter riser. It's super comfortable. Another thing up front here, this is the actual real metal fender that comes with this bike, but I cut it apart and lengthened it. The reason to do that, this is a 21. This wheel, it's dirty as hell right now. This wheel is a actual Timken bearing Thunderstar wheel, which anyone who knows those, the 21s only came in wide glide. So if you've ever seen them, it's a 21 by 2 1/8 or 2 1/4. It's extremely skinny. On this front end, it would look like a pizza cutter, not good. So what I did was we took the 21 Thunderstar, essentially dissected it, cut the lips off, and widened it to a 21 by 3, which is essentially a modern sized 21. Then took the fender, cut the fender, lengthened the fender to give it a more full fender look. I always felt like the original front fenders on these things looked way too sport bikey and too short. So again, more back to a traditional sort of length fender. Subsequently, the wheel on the back is also, it started its life as a 16 by 3 rear Thunderstar. Again, we cut it apart, we widened it and step lipped it. So now it's a 17 by 5.5 with a 160 tire. I made the louvered side covers just as, again, sort of a throwback to the chrome packages and the sort of like accessory packages that went with a lot of these original sort of like special bikes that they did. So basically I made the side covers, I made a louvered chain guard that, again, throwback to the 90s style stuff that everyone's hot for now. And I made this front, I don't know what you want to call it, a lower tree cover. It's basically like if you've ever seen the early 35 millimeter FXRs, early bikes, they had a little tin cover that went over the lower tree. And rather than the factory like chroming the lower tree, they just put a little chrome cover over it. So I basically emulated that, made this from scratch, just used bar and shield branding on those parts, just clean. And this, this actually just comes off. I actually used like bagger hand controls. Yeah, I used bagger hand controls and added the cruise control feature, which wasn't available on these bikes. I think it is now. Also, this was not available. Like when Lowrider S came out, it had the 2 gauges on the tank. It didn't have this here. This was not available. So that was something I did also. Added the Brembo calipers off of a touring bike. Again, just, factory OEM style stuff that in my mind, like, okay, yeah, the factory could do this. This is stuff that's basically kind of off the shelf stuff. Custom air cleaner, obviously, the old style air cleaner. This was actually one of those Screaming Eagle inserts that I like machined the logos off of, and we lasered in that. I used the late Dyna era 6-speed transmission cover just because I wanted chrome, and I like the fact that it said 6-speed. These were actually live wire pegs. When the live wire came out, I think they may have these on other bikes now, but these were live wire pegs. I just wanted something smaller, took them apart, chromed them, did the whole thing. Did this brake pedal, basically welded and then recast this. And I actually machined all these lines in here to give it a more sort of 90s softer look. Like if you compare this to the new pedal that would be on this, it's actually quite different. And added this fin because I put those fins on like my FXR fender struts and all kind of other stuff. And then also did the same thing on the rear. It's hard to see with the bags, but added this little kind of fin back here. That's just, you know, like a little detail. What else? You know, like I said, chromed a bunch of stuff. So yeah, the exhaust basically is all made from scratch. I just basically made the mufflers, made the head pipes, made the heat shields, left the logo in the heat shields. I just wanted something actually really factory looking with this build. I didn't want to do like a 2-into-1 or something like that that wouldn't be what the factory would do. So again, like trying to keep it as factory looking as possible. And actually, I don't have it here now, but when I first showed this bike, I actually made like a dealer hang tag that had, you know, pictures of the bike, a description of the bike, and then all the little parts as like on the backside of options. Like essentially, if you went into a dealership to buy this bike, exactly how it would look. I did all that and displayed it like that, and people were legitimately confused as to like, what bike is this? What model is this? You know, after owning this for a couple years, I've ridden this cross country. I've done a bunch of, you know, riding on this. I am gonna switch the pipe out. I'm probably gonna run a Thunderheader on this after this, soon, probably after this video. You know, I love them. I've said that in other videos. I love those pipes. They sound great. They look great. I do have, what do I have in here? Redshift 468 cam. I've got Thundermax, and I have an HPI intake. And other than that, it's really stock. Like the throttle body's stock, injectors are stock, you know, push rods and whatever. But yeah, basically just a cam, pipe, and tuner. And the thing runs great, like absolutely great. It's really, like, to be quite honest, it's probably enough. These pipes are 1 3/4 inch. It's probably a little choked up. Like it could use 1 7/8 inch or stepped pipes, which I'll do with the Thunderheader. It'll make, right now it's super torquey. It doesn't have as much horsepower as it does torque. So I want to get more of a even square number. So I'm going to change the pipe. Really, that's it. I don't really want to change anything else. I have like Screaming Eagle heads and 131 and all that kind of stuff. I'm not even doing it on this. I'm leaving this bike as a 114. It runs and rides fine. It doesn't break. It doesn't, like, it's not too much. It's not obnoxious. It's like, it's just right. I'll do another bike with all that crazy stuff for sure. Man, what else? Oh, okay, yeah, on the primary side, I completely forgot about all this stuff. Well, on the primary side, I made this little coil cover. I think I did a very similar one on the Pan America, just again, branded. You know, the pegs have the bar and shield on it. This has the bar and shield. The front little piece I made has the bar and shield. I did change the shifter. Normally the shifter comes out and like that. I wanted it to go under. I don't know why, just sort of like the older bikes all went under the foot peg. So I just wanted to do that. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, you know, chrome the top tree. Man, this thing really is dirty. What else? I got a ram mount on there. That's just been on there for a while. Harley's bar bag. One of the cool little Harley accessories that I love these little things. The little mini temperature gauge. But yeah, this thing's just like, there's not much I would change on this thing, to be honest. Pretty much just ride it. That's really like the only thing to do. Like I said, I'm gonna do the pipe. And at first I did have this original 90s Dyna era license plate with the blinker bar. I took it off. I am probably just gonna go to more of a lay down style plate. But again, that was just like, how can I make this thing look the most like factory as I can? Use some kind of parts that like would be the first thing that people took off normally. I mean, I even had reflectors and stuff on the forks and everything when I built this, specifically for that reason. Like, those are absolutely the first things you're gonna take off when you get the bike home. Now I remember, I actually even got these mirrors. They still had the plastic little film on them that they take off when they get this from the dealership, you know, that you have to peel off. Those were still on there. So this thing looked absolutely 100% like off the showroom floor when I built it. And like I said, I've ridden this thing cross country. I've ridden it here, there, everywhere. Definitely put some miles on it. I've done, you know, I think I did maybe the Screaming Eagle clutch and some other little things like that. But for the most part, man, this thing is just, it's rock solid, doesn't let me down. I love the way this bike looks and like the silhouette and the stance of it. I really, really, really dig. I don't want to change it. Like, I absolutely do not want to change this bike. So that means I got to make another bike that looks just like this, but like a different color version and some other parts. I think I'm sort of in the process now. I've collected a bunch of parts. I'm kind of waiting for the right donor bike to pop up, but very similar in stance, but like a very high performance version of this same bike. So 131, heads, all the stuff, T-Max, you know, carbon, all the stuff that's chrome on this bike, essentially I think I want to do in carbon. Different front end, etc., etc. Oh, by the way, yeah, I have Racetech internals in these forks. Just remembered that. It's about a +1.5 inches, I think. Obviously adjustable, all that. Man, I'm just noticing all these other details I kind of forgot about. All the fairing bracketry and everything is also chromed. I kind of forgot that I did all that. Like, even like the little headlight thing, that's normally just whatever, black. That's all chromed. Yeah, I mean, again, now the ST has chrome. Now the ST comes with these bags. It comes with this gauge. But at the time when I built this, none of that. Literally, you got a Lowrider S. It was blacked out, and whatever. There weren't really a lot of options. So again, my thinking was like, take this thing back to the sort of 90s style themed bikes builds that they did from the factory. Don't mind this one peg on here. I got this one random peg on here, the fold down peg. I lost part of it. This is just a temporary fix for now. I'll fix that later. It's kind of what, you have those bikes where you're like, man, I don't even care if that one part isn't right. I just don't even care because I just want to ride it. And like, that's sort of where I'm at with this bike. There's so many new projects happening that this is old faithful right here. Get on and go. Like, I don't even think about it. Honestly, I don't really even care. But yeah, this thing's great. It's really good. I'm excited to kind of do another one of it. Yeah.